Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with Daily Technical Update. It is Tuesday, the 23rd of December. This will be the last update before Christmas. There was none yesterday because I was traveling, and now I reached my destination, which is in a different time zone, which is why this a little bit unusual time for my daily video. So this video is for educational purpose only. There's no advice or recommendation whatsoever intended. It is purely to demonstrate how I try to read the market using technical analysis. And with this, we'll kick it off with Novo Nordisk, the big weight loss pharma company and insulin pharma company in Denmark, but they are very big in US and they are also trading in US. So it is up 7+% on the Copenhagen Stock Exchange this morning after reports that some of the Wegovy weight loss products have been approved. I'm not going into details, but as we can see here, it is bouncing off these lows here below 280 and dipped to 267. And it seems like it's formed the base here, but we can also see on the weekly around 300 Danish kroner. So it's bouncing there a bit. And if we're looking at the US one in a bit, then we can also see that it has had some bouncing effect there. It will open in the US quite shortly, but Novo Nordisk seems to be bouncing here, and if that's the case, if it can get RSI back above 60 threshold on the daily, well, then it could establish a bullish trend, and it is maybe doing it. We can see higher lows there than here, and here higher highs slightly, so it seems like we are in for a bullish move in the new year, possibly. Pre-market in the States, it's up about 8%. Its competitor in US, Eli Lilly, on the other hand, has been faring much better here. The past couple of months is in a strong bullish uptrend, and there's no divergence on the daily and weekly, indicating likely higher levels after this correction here, starting to crawl higher again. On the overall indices in US, we had Nasdaq 100 still below its all-time highs, but it is trading higher here. As we can see, yesterday it actually closed a little bit higher again. We are above the cloud. RSI bounced off the 40 threshold here, and let's see what is actually key interest. What will it do here pre-market? Basically unchanged at the moment, just below 25,886. 868 it is. If it takes out that, well, then we have confirmed the bullish trend with likely higher levels. The S&P 500 is also pushing higher. Yesterday closed higher here, and if it can take out these peaks here, well, then we are likely for a very strong entry in the market. So the Santa Claus rally actually seems to have been starting a little bit later this year than normal, but there was also an announcement of the unemployment rate and non-farm payrolls. They were also released later than normal. The pre-market, we can see how the future is flirting with this peak here, and is likely to push higher in the coming days, which I believe we will see a bullish market on the US market. The Russell 2000 small cap index also bounced and could also push higher. Positive sentiment indicating likely higher levels on the small caps. On the Hang Seng in Asia this morning here, well, we are basically still in this range bound here between 25,145 and 26,264. Nikkei bouncing a little bit here after it was sold off mid-December. Seems to be still in a slightly bullish trend. We are above the cloud, above 55 moving average, still positive sentiment on the RSI, indicating likely higher levels, but it is a little bit under pressure at the moment. In Europe, well, will it push higher? I believe it will do so. However, it is struggling a little bit here with EUROStoxx50. We are above 55 moving average. We are above all moving averages, and they're all rising. Positive sentiment on the RSI. We are above the cloud. We are in a bullish trend. Can we end the year higher is debatable, but as long as we stay above these lows here, and let me just draw them. There we are at 25,678. The bullish trend remains intact. DAX needs to close above 24,441 and preferably also above 24,475. That spike up there, that is the key resistance. We are in a bullish trend, but it needs to be further confirmed with a close above that level. On the FX market, euro-dollar pushing higher, and I think we'll see it pushing towards these previous peaks here around 119. Could happen before the year end. We are getting into a thinner and thinner market, less and less liquidity, so maybe we could push a higher, but still, nevertheless, it's there after bouncing from just around 117, and we are pushing higher, reaching a 786 retracement there at 118 and a quarter, quite possibly today or maybe tomorrow. Remember, they will be trading in the Far East, so that is still trading throughout the week on the FX market, but it will be pretty thin. But bullish market on bullish trend on euro dollar, also on sterling dollar. Very likely to take out 135 and a quarter, minor resistance there. There is room up to these levels here above 136, 137. Fairly strong bullish trend. We can see all the moving averages turning around 100, skidding off the 200 moving average there, and that is a fairly strong signal if it does that. 55 coming down here, so that will take a little bit. So weighing on it a little bit. Could set back after reaching around 136 area here. Maybe we could see a little bit of correction, but bullish trend on sterling dollar. Euro sterling, on the other hand, is still in this range here at 87.10 support area. I know that we had this weird, seems like either a mistrade or a fall on the graph. I'm not quite sure, so I will disregard that one. Still range bound here between 87 and 88. The yen pairs, well, they seem to be quite toppish at the moment. Some of them actually forming a double top like patterns. Here we have dollar yen that couldn't take out the previous peak there at 157.88, 157.90, and then it got weak. So we are range bound here. If it moves back below 154.30, maybe then we have a double top pattern scenario there that could push it lower, and then if that scenario plays out, then we can estimate how deep that will move, and at least down to 158.80, possibly lower down to 151, 150. But let's see, if it takes out the peak there, well, then uptrend is resuming. The euro yen also a bit choppish here. We have divergence on the RSI. Let's remove this one. RSI being rejected there. However, let's have a look here. Is that, yeah, we do have divergence, as you can see. Market moved higher, RSI moved lower, so a bit stretched uptrend, and maybe a possible top and reversal pattern there. Could test the lower rising trend line, maybe if it breaks below it. Well, we have support there at 181.50 and the lower rising trend line there. So look out for these Fibonacci levels also, but especially the trend lines, they are key. Aussie yen, also a bit toppish. Is that also a double top maybe playing in there? It did close yesterday above this peak there, so the uptrend is still intact, but you can see here also the RSI is declining, so also in a bit of a uptrend exhaustion mode, at least here short term, but the uptrend is intact as long as it stays above 102.30. That low there could slide back to test the rising trend line, but the uptrend is intact. Sterling yen, bullish trend. seems to be no divergence here, so that indicates likely higher levels on sterling yen after a bit of a correction. Could push higher, and if it could push to 212, 213 even, and you will see we are well above this peak there, and I probably have to go really far back to find levels like that. If I can find it, yeah, we have to go back to the 2000, and when is that? 2000 and what are we talking? 2007, these levels, but that up in the 240s, 250s. I'm not calling that at the moment, but that seems we are heading towards it at least. Well, we get it. It's debatable. The Aussie dollar. Bullish trends after the strong bounce here off the 38.2 retracement, and I think we will see it taking out the 67 resistance there. Could happen overnight, could happen today, and possibly tomorrow, with a potential higher to 67.50, 68 maybe even. You can see I projected it higher there, so we have these levels there at 67.5 and 67.90. Dollar Canada, well, as I wonder out, we could take out the 137, 137.20, and it is confirming its or continuing its bearish trend, and it has potential down to 136, 135, 75 support area. That goes a little bit further back. Let me just show you back to these levels here in this where we have some strong support here, just around 135 and a half, 135.75. Sterling Canada still range bound, so I will skip that for now. We have still so much to talk about. Euro Swiss setting back, testing key support here at just below 93, 98, 80, dip below yesterday and also this morning, and I think we could see it pushing lower. RSI flirting with the 40 threshold, so if both closes below their support, well, then we are likely to see Euro Swiss pushing lower towards 92.60, possibly down to around 92 and a quarter, which is the 786 retracement of this. We can actually see we have a kind of a shoulder, head and shoulder-like pattern, and then we have the neckline down here, so that's what it's flirting with at the moment. That's the pattern we are seeing possibly playing out. Dollar Swiss setting back lower also here, testing support there at 78.70, and I think we will see it pushing lower in the coming days and weeks. We can see both the 55 and the 100 moving average averages are declining. We are negative sentiment on the RSI. Support here at 78 and a quarter is likely to be tested, and I think we could see it pushing lower in the coming days and weeks, and going into New Year. Then we see we are flirting with these levels here, so quite heavy on the dollar Swiss. Dollar index also to the negative side, resuming its downtrend after a little bit of correction, flirting with the minor support around current levels and the 61.8 retracement there. However, I think we'll see it pushing lower towards around 97. We have 786 retracement there at 96.84 support. If it takes out that, well, then we are lower, seeing lower levels, and it's not unlikely it will play out, because we can also see the moving average is declining. We are below the cloud, negative sentiment on the RSI, indicating lower levels on the dollar index. So a weaker dollar is definitely in the card. Gold pushing higher and is surpassing 61.8 extension. I have extended from the peak to the bottom here, and then extended from the breakout, and we are above 4,400, flirting with 4,500, and I think we will see it pushing higher here in the coming weeks. Now we do have divergence on the RSI. You can see the RSI lower here than over here. However, the uptrend is still fairly strong, and I think we will see it pushing higher here in the coming days and weeks going into the new year. Excuse me. So really a strong trend there. Also on the weekly, there's a divergence building up, so uptrend exhaustion, but that can actually go on for quite some time. So I wouldn't, if it was me, I wouldn't go short on the gold at all. That would be a little bit dangerous, I think. Also here we have silver pushing higher, flirting with 70. Did it touch? No, just below it, and keep an eye on for it maybe falling, forming a top reversal. But for now, really an uptrend. RSI breaking above its falling trend line there, indicating likely higher levels on silver, but it is extremely stretched. However, here you can see on the weekly, there's no divergence on the RSI. RSI is supporting higher levels for silver in the coming, on the medium term. So a really strong move there. Platinum also pushing higher, and we have to go back and now have to change this to a monthly chart. We have to go really far back to find levels right there. Back in 2008, we saw platinum at almost 2,300, 2,289, and a change up here, and that's where it seems where we are headed at the moment. Really strong move indeed, and I think we could see it pushing higher. No divergence on the RSI, both daily and weekly, indicating higher levels. We could see some corrections, and we should be prepared for it, but the bullish trend, I think, will prevail, and also pushing it higher. Copper is also crawling higher now again after a little intermezzo here over the past couple of weeks, where it slided sideways. And as we can see here, the 786 retracement there at 561 is likely to be reached. Also, bouncing in the crude oil market over the past few days. Excuse me, and flirting almost with the 61.8 retracement there, 58.39. I think we could see it even bouncing maybe up to the 786 at 59.32, but the downtrend is still intact as long as it moves below 60.5. Then we have all the moving average pushing it lower, still negative sentiment on the RSI, no divergence, indicating likely lower levels on the crude oil market. Brent crude oil here also currently flirting with the 61.8 retracement, could push up to the 786 retracement there at 62.94. Then we have the 55 that will try to push it lower again. The nat gas market, the European nat gas, bounced up to the 38.2 retracement and now setting back, and I think we could see it sliding back lower again here in the coming days and weeks, unless it can take out the peak there at 28.5. Then there's potential up to around 29, maybe even 30 euros. US nat gas found a floor or a bottom here, some support in this region around 380. Will it bounce? That's debatable. Negative sentiment slightly here, down here, so it needs to get back above 4.25 for the bouncing and uptrend to resume. On the excuse me, on the Treasury yield market, or the US Treasury yield here, we have the 420, 421 still key resistance that for the US 10-year, and 410 to the downside. So we are just basically trading sideways there a little bit. Moving on to the European yields, and let me just make it bigger. Sorry about that. We have the EU 10-year that pushed higher here the past few days, but then has been set back now, and still uptrend is intact, and I think we'll see it pushing higher here in the coming times. But resistance there at 294 could be reached. Whether we'll do it or not, keep an eye on the 283 support. UK 10 still in this triangle-like pattern there, and the Japanese 10 yesterday spiked to above 210 or touched 210 and then got knocked out. So a little bit uptrend stress there, could set back further. Some support around 2%. Let's see if it can move back below 2%. But to really to turn bearish, 191 is the support. On the crypto market, dancing sideways really here. We are actually in a bearish scenario, short term, after breaking this flag pattern like here, and I think we will slide back here in the coming weeks. But let's see, could it maybe found a floor in and not slide lower to the 80,500? That'll be key to watch here the next couple of days on the Bitcoin, Ethereum. Also on the bearish side, below the 55 moving average. key support down there at 26.10. All right, that's all for today. Have a very Merry Christmas, and I'll talk to you again next week. There will be no updates for the end of the week unless something really happens on the market. I might do something on the FX market, but most of the stock markets in Europe and US are closed most of the days. And I'll talk to you again before New Year.